This quick clip is going to focus on what data shortcuts are and the process on how to set them up and use them in Civil 3D using the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit. Before we begin, let's locate the Data Shortcuts tool. On the Home ribbon on the Palettes panel, the large icon says Tool Space. Click on it. That will launch your Tool Space palette. On the Prospector tab, towards the bottom you will find the Data Shortcuts option. Data shortcuts provide the ability to create a direct path to the location of a shareable source object, such as surfaces, alignments, pipe networks, pressure networks, corridors, and view frame groups. In a single operation, you can create data shortcuts for multiple objects in a source drawing. The data shortcut is used only for the creation of data references. So first let's look how to use data shortcuts to create data references. Before you can create data shortcuts, you must have a shortcuts folder in your project. When you use the FDOT Create Project tool, you'll create your project, and in that project directory you'll have an _ shortcuts folder. In that folder you have folders that correspond to the data shortcuts that are in your prospector. So make sure you have this shortcut folder. If you don't have it, you will not be able to create data shortcuts. The next thing you want to do is you want to right click on data shortcuts and you want to set your working folder. If you don't set your working folder, when I go to create a new file using the Create File tool, I'll get this notification letting me know that the data shortcut project has not been set. The Create File cannot automatically set your project folder. You have to manually set it yourself. So let me click OK to this, and as you can see here, the project is not set. This is just to help aid users into inadvertently creating data shortcuts in the wrong project. So let me go ahead and click close to this. I'm going to right click on data shortcuts and choose Set Working Folder. I'm going to go to my E folder and click on Projects. I'm only going to select the top folder. I'm not actually going to pick one of the project folders. I'm going to use another command to do that. So go ahead and click OK. Go back to your data shortcuts. You're going to right click, and now you have the option to set data shortcuts project folder. So I'm going to click that, and there it shows me the two projects that are in that directory. So just make sure you have the right one selected and click OK. When I click on the Create File utility, you can now see that the project directory structure is set, and I no longer get the notification dialog box. So let's go ahead and click close to this. Let's go ahead and look and see how we're going to put data references in our data shortcuts. So let's open up some source files. We'll click on the Open folder, and let's put some alignments in our data shortcuts. So I'm going to click Open. And in this drawing here, you can see on the Prospector tab under the Alignment category, we have a baseline alignment and side street A, B, and C. Let's go down here and right click on Data Shortcuts, and I'm going to choose Create Data Shortcuts. Civil 3D is going to scan my drawing and find that these are the available shareable objects that are in my drawing. So I can just select alignments, and it'll go ahead and select all of them for me, and it lets me know the status of those is to be added. Go ahead and click OK. I'm going to roll this back up. So now when I go to my data shortcuts, I now have under centerline alignments 4 alignments that are now shareable objects. These objects are now known as data references. When I place these data references in another drawing, that drawing then becomes a consumer drawing. In the consumer drawing, those data references is a read-only copy of the source object. Okay, so now that we have some data shortcuts established, let's create a consumer drawing. So here I'm going to go to the FDOT ribbon, click on Create File. I'm going to make sure that my discipline is set, my file group is set. I'm going to choose Propose Design. Here it's going to create a DSGN RD01 file, and it's going to put it in my roadway folder in my project directory. Click Create Open File and click Close. The next step I want to do is I want to make sure that every time I open up this particular file, that my data shortcuts project directory automatically sets to the correct project. So I want to associate this drawing to my data shortcut. So I'm going to right click on Data Shortcut and choose Associate Project to Current Drawing. Once I do that, it shows me the working folder, and it shows me again the projects that are in that folder. Make sure you have the right project selected, click OK. Once you do that, up on top you'll notice that the project number is in brackets. That's the sure indication that you now have a drawing that's associated to that project. The next step I'm going to do is to save my file. Next, let's create a reference. So right click on your alignment and choose create reference. What we're doing now is we're establishing a style to our alignment, or how we want it to look, and also how we want to label it. So here I'm going to choose my alignment style as proposed. I'm going to assign an alignment label set of a scale of 1 inch equals 40 and click OK. Double click on the wheel of my mouse. That gives you zoom extents. You can also create references to many objects at one time by selecting a reference, hold down the shift key, highlighting them, right click and choose create reference. But when you do it that method, you don't get the option to set a style to it. What it does is it uses the same style that is being applied to it in the source drawing. If you need to know what your source drawing is, you can always come back, select one of these references, and down on the bottom it'll show you the source file that is being used for these alignments. It also shows you the location and a description. Again, a data reference is a read-only copy of the source object that's been inserted into our drawing, known as a consumer drawing. If I zoom in and select the alignment, notice that I don't get any grips. I'm not able to change the design aspects of this alignment. The only thing I'm able to do is delete it, or I can select the alignment, right click, and I can choose to change the label styles or the alignment label itself. I can choose to edit the alignment labels, edit the alignment style, or look at the alignment properties. If you choose to edit the alignment properties, here's where you have the option to choose the look of that alignment. Next, let's do the same procedure, but this time we're going to create a reference to a surface. So I'm going to click on Open. I'm going to go up a folder to the Survey folder, and I'm going to grab GDT MRD01 drawing. Click Open, and in this drawing you can see that we have an existing grade surface established in it. Same procedure. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose Create Data Shortcuts. I'm going to choose my surface. Click OK. Now you see a little plus symbol next to the Surfaces category. If I expand it, you can now see that we have created a data shortcut for existing grade surface. Let me go back to my design drawing and let us create a reference to that. So if I expand Surfaces, right click, choose Create Reference. In my Create Surface Reference dialog box, I can give my surface a style. So we click on the down arrow, and here we'll choose something like existing contours with a 2-foot major and 0.5 feet minor contour. Click OK. Click OK again. And now you can see under my surfaces category in the current drawing that I have open, if I expand it, I've got an existing grade surface. You'll also notice the little marker here with an arrow or turn arrow to it. That's an indication letting me know that this surface is a data shortcut, same as we have down here. Same thing again, I can't change this surface or alter it. All I can do is pick it, go into Surface Properties, and change the style of it. And as you can see here in the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit, we have many different styles to choose from. Alright, let's go ahead and see how we would add pipe networks to our data shortcuts. So we'll click Open, go up a folder. I'm going to go to my Drainage folder, my Drainage Proposed Road 01 drawing. Click Open. And the procedure is very similar. You can see here that in my prospector I have a pipe network. Down here I do not have a pipe network in my data shortcuts. So I'm going to right click on Data Shortcuts, choose Create Data Shortcuts. I'm going to choose my pipe network, Proposed Drainage, click OK. It adds it to that file. I'm going to go back into my design file. From my pipe networks, right click and choose Create Reference. In the Create Pipe Network Reference dialog box, just start from the top, work your way down. Make sure all your settings are correct. Here for my networks parts list, I'm going to choose FDOT Drainage. I'm going to choose Existing Grade Surface. I'm going to choose my alignment that's referencing, and then I have options to apply label styles to it. FDOT structure plan, and FDOT pipe plan. Click OK. And then if we go to our pipe network category, under networks, you can now see that we have a proposed drainage data referenced in to our drawing. Once you have data references in your drawing, you have the option of categorizing them or organizing them in folders. If I right click on center alignments, I can choose create folder, and here I'll call this folder side streets. Click OK. It adds the folder to my center alignments category. I can select my side streets and drag them up into my folder. This just helps you better organize. If you have multiple alignments, you can do the same thing for surfaces, pipe networks, corridors, and view frames. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of house cleaning here. I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to close out of some of my other drawings. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at the possibility that somebody took one of your drawings and renamed it. How do we go back and correct or rectify the link to a data shortcut that has been broken? So I'm going to go to Windows Explorer, go to my projects, let's go to our alignments, and I'm going to rename this alignment. Once I do that, you'll notice down on the bottom that we get a notification letting us know that our data shortcut definitions may have changed. Let's click Synchronize. When you click Synchronize, if I go to Alignments, you'll notice that we have a yellow marker letting us know that it's having a problem finding the source drawing because it's been renamed. So I'm going to select one, right click, and I'm going to choose Repair Broken Reference. And then I get a dialog box that comes up that asks me, okay, it's looking for my aligned ALG and RD01 drawing, but it can't find it. So what is the name of the new source file? It's this one. So I'm going to click it, click Open, and it says, okay, while we're fixing that one, let's go ahead and repair the rest of the broken references. So I'm going to choose Repair All Broken References, and then you can see on the left-hand side those yellow markers have gone away. If I go down here to the bottom to my alignments and pick one, you'll now notice that my source file is pointing to the renamed file that I corrected. Let's see what happens if I go into my alignment file and change one of the alignments. How do we update this file? If I select the alignment down here, I can right click and choose Open Source Drawing. This is a lot quicker than having to go to File, Open, and browse for that file. It also helps you keep track of what files are source files. So if I select one of these alignments, I now get grips, because in a source file I can edit the geometry, but I can't in a consumer file. I'm going to pick one of these grips, and I want to change it, and then click Save. Once I click Save, if I go back into my consumer file, again I get a notification that one of my data shortcuts definitions have changed. Also, if I go to Alignments, you'll see that I have another yellow marker letting me know that something is out of whack or not updated. So again, click Synchronize, and then you'll see your drawing will update, and then the yellow markers will go away. Well, we saw what happens when we rename a drawing. What happens when we rename a data shortcut in a source file? Let's go back to our source file. Under Alignments, I'm going to rename my baseline alignment. I'm going to select it, go to Properties, and then we'll call this, click OK. Again, click Save. Let's go to our consumer file. Again, a data shortcut definition has changed. If you look here in our alignments, we have that yellow marker again and let us know that it's not in sync with our source file. So I'm going to click Synchronize. And here it's telling me that the name of the source object for this reference has changed. The old name is baseline. The current name in the source file is baseline renamed. Do you want to update the reference name or keep the old name? Here I'm going to say update the reference name. and then you can see the name change in your prospector to the updated name. I hope this helps you better understand the role that data shortcuts and data referencing play in Civil 3D, and thank you for watching.